Okay, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order for the Quapaw Nation General Council, July 4th, 2021 at 9:14 a.m. Good morning, everyone. At this time, if I could have your reverence and attention, I would like to call on my elder and respected war veteran, Uncle Bill Griffin, to lead us in an invocation. If you could come up to the mic, please, and lead us in a word of prayer. Stand if you are able.
One, two. Dear Heavenly Father, who's good that our Quapaw people, God, thank you for all good blessings for us. Help us meeting the and pray for each every member committee. Thank you for all things. Let's be meeting. Let's gather.
Benediction with Seki. Away, O-gah-pah Johnny. Welcome to the 2021 Quapaw Nation General Council. If you notice, both our Downstream and Quapaw casinos are extremely clean, and our employees have anticipated high volumes of traffic at each of our outlets. And I would personally like to thank our staff and our members of the various committees for their hard work spent putting our General Council meeting together, for their efforts to make our Quapaw Powwow a successful event, and for making every tribal member feel welcome throughout this entire weekend. Let's give them a round of applause. This has been an unprecedented year, with the COVID pandemic taking a devastating toll on our businesses and an even greater loss of our loved ones within our tribe. As we gather this weekend for our annual celebration, it is a proud yet somber feeling when we consider the individuals who walked on this last year. There are many relatives and individuals that were integral parts of our community that are no longer here with us, but we cherish the memories and the legacies they leave behind as O-gah-pah people. And at this time, I'd ask for a moment of silence for those individuals that are no longer here with us. Benediction. I would especially like to thank our grave diggers, our cooks, our fire keepers, and our culture keepers for taking care of our people in their time of need and helping to preserve our Quapaw way of life. Despite the pandemic, our business enterprises have rebounded strongly to overcome the challenges we have faced. Fortunately, under this new administration, we experienced tremendous cost reductions in business expenses throughout all of our enterprises this year. Some of these cost reductions were due to loss of employees during COVID, but there were also significant reductions in executive leadership compensations and consulting fees from the previous administration. These expense reductions were significant enough to offset any dip in revenue we faced during the pandemic, and we were able to bounce back without any detriment to our business entities. At this point, it is fair to say our businesses are running more efficiently and stronger now than they ever have. But there is still more room to develop, and there will always be challenges that lie ahead of us. In addition to the pandemic, a significant challenge of this current administration has been shifting the culture of the business committee, which has impacted the way we govern and the way we operate our businesses. Much of the consolidated power that was once held by the former administration was dispersed among the elected members of the business committee, but the original intent of the business committee was maintained, which is to act at all times on behalf of the Quapaw Nation in all business matters in a fiscally responsible manner. As a result, the expectation for these elected seats has never been higher, and more is required from each individual member than ever before. The current business committee has also the current business committee has also asked more from our employees to foster a more safe and professional work environment. As the business committee, we placed more autonomy at the executive levels and allowed those individuals more flexibility to make daily managerial decisions, allowing us the ability to focus on more strategic, long-term issues and opportunities that impact our tribe. Some of these personnel changes have been met with unpopular opinion, while others have risen to the challenge and excelled under these conditions. Our business enterprises, along with our tribal government, continue to progress, but the task of serving our people remains the primary focus of this administration. I'm excited today because the progress that has been made this past year has led to more financial institutions expressing greater confidence in our ability to service our own debt. This restored confidence in our financial performance has advanced our position in refinancing our gaming entities under more favorable terms for the Quapaw Nation. The ability to increase our gaming revenue back to the tribe will allow us to reinvest and expand our services and programs that serve all of our citizens. This day is fast approaching, and the hope for a brighter future for our tribe has been reaffirmed. The sovereignty, our sovereignty of Quapaw Nation continues to be challenged on a daily basis at all different levels of government. Since the McGirt ruling rendered last July, our tribal court has undergone significant changes to expand our criminal, civil, and juvenile codes. We passed the first Quapaw Nation Protective Order Act to better address victims of domestic abuse. Gaining special domestic violence criminal jurisdiction over non-Indian offenders is ongoing, but we remain invested in fulfilling this designation. Our valued partnerships with local and federal law enforcement agencies remain important to the ongoing mission of protecting and enhancing the public safety within Quapaw Nation. We were fortunate to receive federal funding under the American Recovery Plan Act, and after much feedback from our citizens, we were able to pass a $13.25 million distribution to everyone this summer. The next challenge is how to best utilize the remaining funds that will have long-term impacts for our tribal citizens. And after listening to everyone give their feedback, there are several obvious needs to address, which include affordable housing for everyone, increased education funding and training, and expanded behavioral health services for all of our citizens. These are areas of high importance, and I look forward to working with the rest of the business committee to address them in the days to come. Quapaw Nation remains ever vigilant when it comes to the environmental issues impacting our citizens and lands within our jurisdictional boundaries. With our Tar Creek remediation project, we continue to be the model for tribal, state, and federal collaboration. Through this partnership, Quapaw Nation will net hundreds of millions of dollars over the life of the project, while simultaneously making this region a cleaner, more sustainable place to live and breathe. Other tribal nations with Superfund sites have begun to ask us how they can remediate their own environmental issues and look to us as the model. I am also excited to announce this morning that we have established the first Quapaw Nation Youth Council. Today, we are investing in one of our most precious natural resources, our youth. This new leadership program through the Education Department will provide an opportunity for our youth to learn about our tribal government and our business entities. Participants will learn the importance of teamwork and leadership development, among others. They will also have the opportunity to help address issues within our tribe, engage with tribal elders, and provide community service. Overall, I am extremely proud of the work that has been accomplished under this administration in just a short amount of time. As your chairman, I will continue to do my very best to ensure the future of the Quapaw Nation, and I will strive to reflect the ideals and the mission for which this seat was created. I would again like to acknowledge the hard work and dedication of our employees. Although we have undergone many changes, there still remains much work to be done and more projects to complete. So to all of our tribal members in attendance today, I say it's a great day to be Quapaw and welcome home. Benediction. Now at this time, reading, correction, and approval of minutes.
Make a motion.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion from the floor to accept those. Anybody care to make the motion this morning? We have a motion to approve the reading, correction, and approval of minutes. Can you state your name for the record, please? Terry Gilmore. Okay, got that. And then I also need a second, please. Sunny Glass, I believe, was the one. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. The reading, correction, and approval of minutes is approved. The motion carries. Next up is the treasurer's report, which you will find in your general counsel booklets and packets. Can I get this guy to get a shirt on or exit the premises, please? Thank you. Okay. For the record, we will amend the author of the minutes and remove Heather Dismuke's name from the composing those and drafting those. Yes, thank you. Okay. Treasurer's report, I'll take a motion from the floor to approve. Is that a motion? Motion to approve. Can you state your name for the record, please? I'm sorry? No. Mike McKibben. And then we have a second. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Carol Myers. All right. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Any abstention? The motion carries and the treasurer's report is accepted. At this time, we'll drop down into the elections. First up, we have Tribal Princess. Sir, if you need, could you come to the mic?
Good morning. My name is Michael McKibben, and I'd like to entertain a motion to suspend the agenda. I also want to make another motion to suspend our existing voting ordinance at the election here today and now. Thank you.
So in order to suspend the agenda, it has to be done through petition. The election ordinance cannot be amended at general council. But we can make a motion and we can vote on it to suspend the agenda. So do we have a second? All right, so we have a motion to suspend the agenda. Do we have a second? Do we have a second? We have a second by Miss Amy Panther. Okay. That for the record? Tony, you got that? Okay. Any discussion? Mr. McKibben's motion to suspend the agenda, if he'd like to come and discuss it, we're in a discussion now and he's the one that made the motion. So if you could address the audience, please.
I believe that the voting ordinance justifies a lot of positions where normally would not be in because of the voting. That's the main reason. Right? Thank you.
So again, what is your reason for the motion again?
Because of the way things have gone since the voting ordinance has been in place, and decisions need to be made by the Quapaw people here and now, because we're the ones that have to live in this area and put up with everything that's going on. Have to go to the voting ordinance to change anything.
So I would oblige you and definitely move into a vote to suspend the agenda. But the reason for suspending the agenda is so that you can amend the voting ordinance, and the voting ordinance cannot be amended through this process because it's also part of the governing resolution, which would either have to be through a special election called or through a petition.
Sir, the General Council limited its power whenever it formed the governing resolution in 1956. If you are to amend that document, you have to bring a petition. You have to have the proper number of signatures, and then a special meeting has to be called. There are certain things you can and cannot do here.
It's a general council meeting.
Of course it is.
Okay, why are all of you up there? There's only one person up there.
Just to clarify, motion to suspend this agenda would effectively adjourn this entire meeting. But we're in discussion. Call for the question.
All right, let's put it to a vote. All those in favor for suspending the agenda, signify by saying aye. All those opposed? All right, I believe the opposition has it. The motion fails.
I make
We're
a
gonna-
motion to suspend the
Excuse me,
agenda to move
Abigail.
into open forum.
Excuse me, Abigail. We're gonna be moving on with the tribal princess elections now. We have business to take care of. It's a short agenda and there'll be plenty of opportunity to speak. That I promise. So if we could have someone from the election committee, how would we like to administer the tribal princess? We have the candidates come on up and give their address. So if we could have the tribal princess candidates. Okay. Miss Carolyn Knott. We have a nomination for Crystal Glass. We have another nomination. Okay. We have a motion and a second. Ms. Crystal Glass, if you could come up and address do we usually do it individually or wait till we have all of them? Wait, okay. We have a nomination for Najoni Hamilton, Sosie Hamilton. We have a second from Virginia Mouse. Come on down, Najoni. Or are there any more nominations from the floor for tribal princess? Do I have a motion to cease nominations? I'll entertain a motion. We have a motion to cease nominations. Who is this? We have a second to cease. All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Okay. We are ceasing nominations for tribal princess. At this time, Najoni, since you're closest, would you like to go ahead and address the audience? Najoni, can you?
My name is Najoni. O-gah-pah, crystal glass gauzy album. Iwikide on that. Atsunuke on that. Ita Itani, Sunny and Brian Black. Itanke, Atsuwa. Iki Itani Lumba. Ika Litini, Vicky Jones and Cleo Lear. Iki Uga'xpa, Eligi, Ongwe Ongwe, and Chara. Hello everyone, my name is Crystal Black. I am the current 2020-2021 O-gah-pah Nation President. I am glad to see everyone here and I'm glad to be here. My parents are Sunny and Gina Black. I have an older sister named Ashley Watson. I am a direct descendant of Second Chief Peacock. My aunts are Vicky Jones and Taylor. I am a member of the O-gah-pah Nation as well as part Cherokee, Uga'xpa, and Uga'xpa. I am 18 years old and will be a freshman this fall at Oklahoma State University, where I plan to pursue a degree in business. Once on campus, I plan to join the Native American Student Association. As you know, I am very proud of my heritage and how it is utmost important to me to keep the tradition alive. I am humbly standing here before you. I think it's important to note an additional year as your O-gah-pah Nation. And again, thank you.
So thank you to both of these young individuals who both are beautiful Quapaw women who represent us well. I've had a really great time watching them over the week at our powwow, dancing in the arena, and they both represent us very well. So good luck to both of these individuals. And at this time, if everyone could get out their clickers, their handy dandy clickers, and go ahead and power them on. And for the first option, we're going to have, who are we having up there? Najoni? Najoni is two? Okay, so Ms. Crystal Glass is number one. So everybody that is voting for Crystal Glass, she will be number one. And then everyone that is voting for Najoni Sosi Hamilton is number two. So at this time, we'll go ahead and commence voting. Can we get a number on how many clicker? Okay. One more minute for voting. If you have not cast your vote, please do so now. Okay, I believe we have reached a decision. If we could go ahead. We go. Yeah. So we have Crystal Glass has won the honor of serving as tribal princess again. So if we could give her a round of applause. And at this time, if we could give Najoni a round of applause, it takes a lot of courage to come up and stand before an audience. So want to acknowledge both of you ladies, just say thank you. And we can meet over here.
I would like to thank the other candidate, Nizoni, for coming up here and standing in front of a huge crowd. I know how hard it is standing up here. I also like to thank the people that voted for me and selected me as your Quapaw Nation princess. It truly is an honor and I'm so humbled. Thank you.
At this time, thank you, Crystal, and congratulations. Moving down to the Powwow Committee Chair. If we could, we'll take nominations from the floor at this time. We have a motion from the floor by Anna McKibben for Mike Shawnee. Anna McKibben Pipestem, sorry. Any other nominations? If there are no other nominations from the floor for Powwow Committee, we're going to go ahead and cease nominations. There we go. Okay, we have a motion to select Mr. Mike Shawnee through vote of acclamation. So all those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Any discussion? The ayes have it, and Mr. Mike Shawnee is the powwow chairman, and he will have the distinguished honor for the 150th Quapaw powwow. Mike, would you like to address the general council, please? And while he makes his way up to the podium, I'd just like to acknowledge the leadership that Mike demonstrates, not just for this weekend, but also all of the planning leading up to this event. He, along with his committee, continues to really do a phenomenal job for us. There's a lot of planning that goes into this, a lot of moving pieces, and he does so very graciously. And we're honored to have him as the Quapaw Powwow Chair.
Good morning. Thank you. And I'd like to say a few words here. Thank the volunteer committee here, as well as the grounds crew, the business office. Support this here. Everybody had good rations. This kind of like this is every year. So, get that exposed in there. We have bigger things. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you again, Mike, for those words. Next up, Yeah, I would say we could take that up with Mike to consider for next year's dance. And I think it's a good idea. Oh, Mr. Ellick here, also distinguished war veteran, is requesting that there be a head gourd dancer for next year's Quapaw powwow. And we can discuss that with Mike later. Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay. Moving down to old business. The enrollment pertaining to Ronald Good Eagle Jr. Do we have Mr. Good Eagle to address the general council? Okay. So there is no one here. Mr. Good Eagle is not here in attendance. Nobody is here to speak on his behalf. However, because it's still on the agenda, we still have to vote on any action taken for this individual. Okay. Because of the way that we have addressed this issue within general council, it's one of those actions that have to carry a certain percentage vote. And because of that, we need to go ahead and utilize the clicker for this vote. And so if we could, I guess, have a yes, no set up. And a yes vote would be to readmit or re-enroll Mr. Ronald Good Eagle Jr. into the tribe. And a no vote would be to deny re-enrollment into the tribe. I've been asked to make an announcement. I understand that after candidates forum, there's a few people that are thinking about leaving, but within open forum that is immediately following candidates forum, we're going to have some special announcements from our Constitution Committee, and then also talk about a shareholders report. So there's a few things that are pretty important just to let you know if you plan on leaving after that. You're going to want to stick around. They're still working on it. Yeah, the vote isn't happening yet. We have the green light. Now it's happening. Yes. So just to reiterate, to re-enroll Mr. Ronald Good Eagle Jr. into the Quapaw Nation, a 1 is for a yes, and a 2 is for a no. One more minute before we conclude voting. If you haven't already voted, please cast your vote in the next minute. Thank you. I've been asked to announce in between voting and there, the Constitution Committee is set up. We have a special table in the back. If anybody would like information as to where the Constitution Committee is with the current drafting of our Constitution. We're also going to allow them time to make a presentation later in the agenda. But for those that are interested and want to talk about all things government, Quapaw civics, that's the table to go to. Okay. So the re-enrollment for Mr. Ronald Good Eagle Jr. back into the Quapaw Nation is denied. And the noes carry the day. Donnie, you have that? Good? Okay. So next up, we have the candidate forum. And if we could have all of candidates running for the Quapaw Nation Business Committee general members go first, because there are so many that are participating in this year's election. We're going to go ahead and give them the floor first. So if you could go ahead and come on up to the podium, and we'll go one by one. And Mr. Larry Mercer. Just for the record, so we have this and we are consistent. I think we're going to go ahead, because of the number of people that are vying for these positions. We're going to go ahead and give you 3 minutes. Is that okay? 3 minutes. Okay.
Good morning. My name is Larry Mercer. I come from the lineage of the Cusats, but I'm running as myself. I respect all my people, but it's going to be my integrity and honesty and sincerity that will count when it comes to being on the committee and representing our great nation. I want to thank all the other members that are seeking re-election, because they have put in many, many long hours. It's not a 3 or 4 hour job. It's probably 50 hours or more per week. I lived in this area all my life, except when I went off to the military and then went to work for a Michelin Tire Company. I got my high school graduation in Miami, Oklahoma, and graduated from MSU in business with a minor in accounting. I went to Michelin's engineering school. I was in charge of all the development for the Tuscaloosa, Alabama plant. That required 24/7. I was paged even on vacation. So I am not afraid of putting in the hours required. And all I would like to say is I would appreciate your consideration. I am dedicated to this tribe. In the last 11 years, I probably haven't missed a dozen monthly business committee meetings. And I even drove back from Alabama for quite a few, and general counsel every year. So I would appreciate your consideration when it's time to vote, but please vote. We have that opportunity because of the service of many great men and women. And so we need to exercise. We did not get the right to vote till 1959, somewhere along in there, that we didn't have a right to vote in national elections. And we were not allowed to participate in the land run after they took our land. So it is a great privilege. I served in the U.S. Navy, Naval Intelligence, Special Forces. I was where we never were. So I'm not afraid of any challenge. So I would appreciate your vote, but no matter what, vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Mr. Jeremy Olson.
Good morning, afternoon here. I just want to thank you all for coming here today. My name is Jeremy Olson. I'm a grandson of Ed Quapaw. I'm on the Uga'xpa. We live here in this area for a life here. Been blessed to have others in my life lead me along this path, and so blessed and I'm humbled to be able to serve on this committee. I would like to ask for your vote, and I'd also like to recognize all you grave diggers, folks, watchers, I want to thank you for all that you do, and it's not an easy job. That's one of the reasons why I'm here today is just in that role. And love you here. And I just want to, if y'all could stand up, if you're a fire watcher, grave digger, head cook, how much y'all put in, away from your own families. I know it's hard on you. That's the reason why I'm here. That's the thing to do is because y'all don't get the notoriety. I know you go through a lot, and loving and giving the time that you put in. Noticed and appreciate it. Y'all can stand up, maybe y'all can give him a hand of applause. He's a very loving and caring people. They would do anything for you. All you have to do is ask. And we're kind of at a point where we got the same people, same families helping out. You, or your loved ones, would like to join and be a part of these ceremonies and things like that. All you have to do is look for one of these people and they will guide you along the way. All very important that we keep our traditions alive. That's what makes us who we are. I'm just going to do business all day, but it's actually better. We're just going to do this practice. Without those things, then we're going to lose our rescue. The government's not going to recognize us as a tribe if we cannot take care of our tribe boys. I appreciate your vote, and I want to thank y'all for voting in earlier this year. Appreciate the vote. Thank you all. God bless you.
Away. Good morning. My name is Weena Supernaw. I'm the great-great-granddaughter of Tall Chief, last hereditary chief of the Quapaw tribe. My great-grandmother was Maud Angel Thompson Supernaw, also known as Grandma Supernaw. My grandfather was Ick Supernaw. My father was Junior. Thank you for this opportunity to speak today. I graduated from George Mason University with a Bachelor of Science in Accounting. And last year, I retired from MetLife after 30 years in a senior leadership position. I humbly request your consideration of your vote on July the 24th. Some of the positions that I believe in very strongly include increased communication. I think the current administration has made great strides with improving. There are many ways to improve two-way communication. Not just communication from the tribal government, but also ways in which to positively and constructively provide feedback to the tribe. I also believe in sustained growth. Obviously, the steps being taken toward reducing our debt is very important. There are other business opportunities that can and should be pursued. Those businesses exist to strengthen our culture and our family, the Quapaw Nation. I also believe in term limits. I've had a number of conversations with other tribal members. They don't always agree with me, but you know what? That's okay. That's how we come to better solutions. Through good debate, positive discussion, and we always come to a better conclusion as a result. I also believe in service to all Quapaw people, not just one family, not just one clan, all Quapaw people. Thank you for your consideration, and thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Good morning, guys. I'm Mindy Gilmore Little. I've worked here at Downstream for 13 years as management, and I just feel like I could help our people with leadership and move forward. Thank you.
Hello and good morning to all my O-Guah-Pah relations. My name is Linda Davis. I'm a direct descendant of George and Minnie Cold Springs Red Eagle. As you know, a candidate forum was recently held. One of the questions was, why are you running for a spot on the BC? And I would like to take the opportunity to expand on that and provide a more personal detail. I'm a lifelong community member and have established relationships with city, county, state, tribal, and federal officials. My work career has been devoted to not only the O-Guah-Pah people, but other Indian populations. Because of these positions I have held past and present, I have witnessed the firsthand disparities faced by our nation. The homeless, jobless, mental health disorders, and substance abuse are a few of the disparities encountered weekly, if not daily. As a passionate leader and potential BC member, it is my desire to address these issues and work toward building resilient communities and seek development of reintegration programs for tribal citizens exiting the prison system. I support cultural preservation and connection. I strive for respect, dignity, honor, and tradition. I know there will be challenges, and I am ready to accept them. I want nothing more for us to be a united nation and not a divided nation. I will work diligently to restore the tribal citizens' trust in the BC. For example, increase checks and balances, decrease debt, and accountability. In closing, I may not have a solution to all challenges faced by the nation, but what I can tell you, I will work hard to resolve them. I am a dedicated, accountable servant. I feel my appointment to subcommittees by past and present BC reflects their trust in my abilities and character. I am thankful for those appointments. I hope to have this same trust from you as the annual election draws near. I only know to speak from the heart as I was taught. I would be honored to be a part of the leadership of our nation. I have no hidden agenda or ulterior motive. I have a genuine love and concern for we are all downstream people. I humbly seek your support. Gunna Gay, and God bless.
Good morning. My name is Everett Bandy. My full name is Brandon Everett Bandy, but I go by my middle name. So a lot of you know me by that name. I come from the Clark family, and we're descendants of Abraham Dardine and Teresa Cusat. And I currently am employed by the Quapaw tribe in the Historic Preservation Office, which is the department which is tasked with consulting with the federal government to make sure that our important historic and sacred sites are not impacted when they do a federal project. For example, building a highway or anything that might require a permit or money. And so in my job, I have to manage a federal I have to manage a federal grant. I have to manage a tribal department. And I also have to be able to manage employee issues. And then in the course of my work, I've also been elected by the tribes in northeastern Oklahoma to represent them on the National Board of Tribal Historic Preservation Officers. In addition, I attended Haskell Indian Nations University and received a Bachelor of Arts in American Indian Studies, which is a degree focused on the laws that affect American Indians. And I also received certifications in federal records handling and casino management. And I feel like with my background and qualifications that I would be well suited to serve on our business committee. We've experienced a lot of growth in recent years, and we've also experienced growth pains. And we need to find a way to restore trust in our business committee, which these efforts have been being made, but I feel like I can continue to add to that. One of the things that I'd really like to see in the course of my work, we have to do consultation between tribal governments and federal governments. And I think one of the things that's begun to be done with our business committee and needs to be expanded is consultation between our leadership and our people. In the past, the government had to meet and have a general council meeting for any major decision whenever they had to expend large amounts of money. I believe the threshold may have been around 20,000 if I recall correctly. Obviously, that would not fit us today, but large decisions that face our tribe should be discussed, and there should at least be a consultation period. And I feel like by doing so, we can begin to move in a positive direction and begin to in-state checks and balances into our tribe. And I feel like with my background that I can achieve these types of goals. And so I'd like to ask for your support in this upcoming election. Thank you.
button.
Three.
There we go.
Okay. Good morning, I'm Henry Alec. My grandmother was Luella Quapaw Crawfish Quapaw. Solomon Quapaw was my grandpa, so that's the family I come from. I like to say that I used to be the former business manager for the tribe. I know programs, I know how that system works. I retired from the Department of Corrections. 25 years of service, worked with maximum mental security, worked at Eastern State Hospital with the mental, worked with juveniles for the last 20 years, and I presently judge pro boxing for the last 25 years and cage matches, and judge on ESPN, Showtime. And not to brag about that, that shows you that I make decisions wisely. I just don't arbitrarily guess. What I would like to say to do here is education is my platform. Got the students to complete school, high school, college. Doesn't have to be college, vocational education. That's where we're at right now in this area with completion. We've got to break that cycle of poverty. Get one person that's going to college out of that family, the rest may follow. That my wife and my daughters are teachers, so we're from an educated background. Still want to have total transparency. Whatever we do, meet and greet everybody. And I like to say too, I like to keep people to establish a legacy. What did you do for your life, for your people? Right now, what is your legacy to your family, to all these people? These guys have a legacy right now of creating jobs and all that. That's what they will be understood for. What I'd like to see also is to establish a bereavement committee. We've had a lot of people pass in this past year and in the future. I lost a brother in January, and smile and look happy and stuff. People need to be spoken to, and we need to do that for a job loss or anything, not just death. But we've got to keep our culture growing too in what we do. The culture equals identity. When your culture disappears, so does its people. Y'all don't keep doing what we're doing now, so we lose out. We're progressive right now, but you got to keep the cultural ways to keep on going and to have that type of life. But I would like to see more tutoring and monitoring the students to make sure they're in school, not just at Quapaw, any Quapaw student, and to keep track of them so they don't drop out. Had several dropouts this year, and it's probably unnecessary. They fell through the cracks. That's our fault. We've been talking not only to the student, but to the parents why that happened. That's about all I have to say. But if I've been a former business manager, I make wise decisions. I respect everything they're doing, and like they've been in mental health, juveniles, whatever you got going, I can fill in on a lot of the areas that you already have established, especially in the Department of Corrections, juveniles, and those people. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Mike Shawnee and Joe K. Okay. Whoever gets there first.
My name is Joe K. Dell. I'm not going to go into my background. It's been published in the Candidate Guide, and we had an opportunity to speak last month. What I want to encourage you to do is vote. You don't have to vote for me, but I want you to be sure that you know everything that's been discussed. Talk with everybody and then go vote. Today, the U.S. government celebrates its Declaration of Independence from their oppressors. The Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, more exactly, begins with the phrase, "We the people." And we the people means all of us, not just one family. This is not a caste system. Our people, the Quapaw people, having management of more stuff and more money than ever in our history, we still don't have a voice. For almost 20 years, there were some of us who tried to tell people that things were not going right. Things were happening that shouldn't happen within a government. And it took nearly 20 years for people to understand that and listen and do something about it. My fear and the reason I'm running is because I feel that we still don't have a voice. There's still too much power concentrated in the hands of a few. We have people from the former administration for whom allegations have been made and charges. But they also, from what I understand, it's been said that some of those were not allowed to come to the meeting. That, to me, is doling out punishment before they've been convicted. That's not leadership. That is not leadership. That's tyranny. The other thing, and I have some quotes here. I have a few copies. I'm a person, I'm helping raise 3 grandkids. I work. My daughter had a wreck and almost killed herself last fall. And right now, the burden is on me to take care of everything. I don't have money to print cards and signs and banners. But I have some quotes here. One is our current chairman inviting our former chairman to meet last year so they could jointly disperse the $40 million from, in other words, the second disbursement from the Good Eagle settlement. What happened in reality once the current administration was in office is that 400 people, instead of paying $20,000 to each tribal member, the current administration kicked 400 people out of that second disbursement. And yes, my family was one of them. Leadership like that is dangerous. You may have gotten more money because 400 of us were kicked out. Some of you may have gotten more, but that's dangerous leadership. Maybe it didn't affect you this time, but down the road, it will. So I want you to understand that your vote is very important. We have another settlement coming up. If they were let free to kick out 400 people, which I might add, it's been said that the current leadership's family made a lot of money off of that decision, as much as $7 million. While we have elders whose roofs are falling in. That's not leadership. That's not Indian. That's how white men politicians do business. We need to go back to who we are. So I'm telling you to be careful with your vote. Whatever it takes, vote. Bear settlements come up. If they can make those kind of decisions, kick people out with we had no redress. There was no redress for us to say, wait a minute, how did that happen? The other thing, how did that happen is the question. We were told
Okay,
that we were kicked out because we were undeserving. We did not deserve it. What does that mean? That sounds more like a judgment call.
your 3 minutes are up.
So vote. It could cost you $35,000 to each tribal member. Take care of yourself and your family, not one family.
That's a tough act to follow there. Truthfully, I just got a few things to say, not very much. I think most of you know my position. In order to provide more for the people, we got to pay down some of this debt, and that's just cutting through the chase. Yes, I want everything to benefit all tribal members and not just a few. Of course, we want to take care of those that are unable to take care of themselves with the elderly and stuff like that. And I'm sure all candidates want that. But first, we got to pay down the debt so we can give more to everybody. So that's my biggest concern with everything right now. You guys have seen me. I go to their funerals. I participate in our funerals. We carry on our ceremonies. Matter of fact, this past year, we've had 6 burials in my family alone. 2 of them were more related to COVID than the rest of it. So, I took care of them. I've used the services of our guys at Big Grave or Watch Fire for us. So, I appreciate all they do as well. And I look up to them, and I'm not saying that I offer more than they know, but they have come to me for advice, ask questions, and what I know. So, yes, I participate as much as I can. I mean, I come upset with families that I'm barely made and know. I don't do that for anything, but just to show support for those families. So, general, some of my past business experience, I've got over 10 years of dealing with the federal government on a daily basis with contracts. I think my experience was greatly difficult that day. Right now, they have us under their phone, provide us money. We've had in the last 50 regulations, government resolutions. So I believe in taking more advantage of the government. But definitely, just vote your conscience and the 24th vote your vote for me. That's the officer. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sean Matthews. I am from the Crawfish family. I came up here. I worked in the casino industry for 17 years before leaving and starting work a dispensary with my family, which we currently run in Miami. I believe the tribe should be heading in the right place, trying to take down this debt so that we have more money to go towards social services, which I believe needs to be used for the elderly and for education. I would love for everybody to go out and vote for who you believe would be the right people for this job. Thank you. Have a good day.
Do we have any other candidates? Typically, the incumbents go last.
My name is Lauren Peacock. I am a descendant of Benjamin and Amanda Sims Peacock. My parents are Tim and Jackie Peacock. They are medical workers. They've been in the ER and NICU for the past 20 to 25 years. So you may see my faces in town. It is with the encouragement and blessing of our elders that I am running for a member position on our business committee. I graduated from Quapaw High School at the top of my class. I attended NEO and then Oklahoma State University studying multiple disciplines. My classes range from business management and marketing to interior design. Through high school and college, I've always been a natural leader. This is reflected in my employment. I have worked at Fortune 500 retailers and have been promoted into management positions at every job I've held. I left to give back to our nation. Alongside Ben Parker, the head roaster at the O-Gah-Pah coffee roaster, he has been revitalizing the program. Since in this position, we have doubled our online sales and social media presence. We have employed 2 more Quapaw tribal members, bringing our total employment to 4 members. We have large plans for the roaster, such as moving it into Papal onto sovereign soil and adding in a grocery store to take away the fact that we are in a food desert. We would like this to be a community space with a coffee shop and restaurant and hope to continue employing more Papal members. We all know that this past year has been trying for all of us, but there have been many bright spots throughout, such as our connection through social media and Zoom. What we do now is going to reverberate through the rest of our nation. This is a text I sent to a member of our business committee in August. I excerpt from it and some of my ideas. We can use the CARES Act funding in collaboration with local intertribal council and tribes across the nation to build bridges and help gap some of the using the funds to build what the federal government has promised us, but they have not delivered on. We could offer up blueprints of our success to other nations, and it could increase our collective power and sovereignty rights. We should set up locally an intertribal healthcare system and expand upon the one that we already have, including a standalone ER and a traditional midwife and nursing facilities to go alongside what we're doing with the missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, two-spirit, and trans, domestic violence, and rehab centers. We can build Quapaw up as a green community and be a leadership in energy and environmental design.
Lauren.
Okay. Thank you for your consideration, and we all know that this is a historical election, so please go out and vote.
Away, my Quapaw relatives. My name is Grant Shock. I am Quapaw. I am of the Crawfish clan. I am a descendant of my great grandfather, Harry Crawfish, my great grandmother, Alice Crawfish, and my grandfather, Harry Gilmore. My mother is Bonnie Gilmore Shock. I'm 37 years old. When I first joined Downstream in 2008, my goal was to run for business committee within 10 years. It has now been 13, and I feel without hesitation the time is now. I would like to give back to my tribe, and I feel this is how I can do so. I have worked at the unequivocally impressive Downstream Casino Resort for a total of 7 years now in 3 different departments. I have 10 years of gaming experience with 15 years of management experience as well. I feel that my skills and my qualifications have led me to this position, and I feel like I can make a positive impact to unite the clans, unite our tribe. We're a bit divided right now. I'm glad to see all my relatives and the faces, and I'm just very humbled by powwow in this time of year. So again, I just want to humbly ask for your vote and your support, as I would love to be a voice for the people, help the elders in any way I can. Again, my name is Grant Shock, Gunagay, and God bless the Quapaw people.
Morning. My name is Zach Turley, and I'm asking for your vote and support for re-election to our business committee. It's been an honor to serve the Quapaw Nation's business committee for the last 4 years. I've worked together with our tribal leaders to move the Quapaw Nation in a more positive and profitable direction. My reasons for running have always been to build upon what we have as a nation and ensure that our children and grandchildren have something to be proud of, providing career opportunities and benefits to them and their families. I've worked for the last 13 years for the Quapaw Nation Fire Department in the public safety area. Some of the things that I have done over the last 4 years, I've worked with the state and the Oklahoma firefighters pension system, trying to pass legislation to get our tribal fire department into the state pension system. This wouldn't just affect our department, it would affect any Indian tribe in Oklahoma that had a fire department. It would enable them to get into that pension system. We worked with the state and got a compact in place. Now our marshal service provides all the law enforcement services for the city of Quapaw. I'm currently working along with the business committee with a lot of the local municipalities and tribes. We are currently developing developing plans for a building to house a 911 dispatch center. This would consolidate that from the city of Miami now. We would work with everybody to provide that service for the county. Another thing that we've been working on, I've been working with IHS to try and start a tribal urgent care clinic that we would have in Quapaw. This would work with IHS and be able to provide some of those services that are lacking in our area. A lot of these things, to make these happen, we're going to have to pay down this debt. So I know everybody's talked about that. I've worked with the current business committee to get this place refinanced. So that is what we're working on. In closing, I ask for your support and your vote in this election because there are many things we're working on that I want to see through. I want to make sure that the legacy I leave behind is one that will allow our future generations to be provided for, to enable them to come home and have opportunities at a great career. Thank you for your continued support and best of luck to all of our candidates.
Good morning. I'm not sure if this is good to be last, but
say the first shall be last. And the longer I sit here and listen, I've kind of just started to scratch my notes one by one, but I am honored to have served our Quapaw people this past term. And I'm also honored to be a part of the, I call my family the Buffalo Clan. I see many today, and I consider that a very blessing, but not only to be a member of the Buffalo Clan, but to be a part of the Quapaw Nation, and to call myself a Quapaw tribal member. I am very passionate about protecting our nation, our people, our sovereignty, and providing for the future of our nation. I will continue to speak with members when you call. This is not a position that has set work hours, and I understand to be a leader for our nation is to be there for our people. My passion has always been to serve others, day or night. I personally advocated for the forensic audit, and the evidence has more than proven the need for this to be done. And the reason why I ran 2 years ago is because I felt in these very meetings and monthly meetings that we were not getting very many answers to questions that have been asked. And since I've been on this committee, I have learned more than I ever have been a part of this tribe. And I am not one to like to keep secrets. And I can assure you, this team, these leaders that are sitting before you, do not take decisions lightly. We truly do care about our people. We truly discuss things. And we truly, I am not always a yes person. You can ask any of them up there. But that's the point of being on a committee. You discuss things and you agree, you vote, and you move on. But most importantly, we get along, and I feel like we love each other. There is a lot of great candidates. I'm not going to stand up here and tell you who to vote for. I believe you need to vote your heart and your conscience. I also am a strong advocate that you need to call these individuals, meet with these individuals, get their personal opinion. And, we can all stand up here and tell you what we want. And I too, like Zach, I feel like that my mission's not done here. Being a scout for years, the motto is leave something better than you found it. And I feel like there's so many projects that we're in the works of, and that there's so much more that we can do and get us on the correct path. I not only want to see our youth, but all of our people to feel safe and have a place to go to, our young families, jobs and our growing businesses, and homes to return to after work, not only for our elders, but young families to call home and to listen. I'm going to plug this in real quick. Grace, and not only just Grace, but our elder committee, I want to give kudos to them. They have a passion and a mission to record our history, and that takes each one of us to step up and do that. Each one of us has a story, and I know Grace is sitting over there on the other side over here, and she has cards, and she wants you to, not just her, but I love that idea. To
Michelle.
record your story.
Time.
Okay, maybe I should have went first. Anyway, I do want to, I'm here for you, and I'll work with you. I'm honest, I'm transparent, and I will continue to do the very best I can. And I want to encourage everyone to get out and vote, most importantly. Thank you.
Are there any other members in the audience for business committee member? Going once, going twice. Okay. So now at this time, the other position for the business committee is the vice chair. And so if we could have our candidates vying for this position to come and address the general council.
Howe, my name's Mary Heather Dismuke. I go by Heather. Many of you know me. I was the previous BC Executive Secretary for the past 2.5 years. I am humbly standing before you requesting that you vote for me as Vice Chair. I am the daughter of Wayne Harper and the granddaughter of Mary Alice Harper. I'm going to start out by telling a story because it was very poignant in my life. When I turned 18, my father looked at me and he said, I want you to serve your country or I want you to serve your community. You need to pick one. It is time. And so sadly, I was not able to serve my country. Instead, I decided to serve my community. I became a wildland firefighter for 4 years and I served as a single resource squad boss. And I did that for 4 years while I went to school. I have a bachelor's in arts from Haskell Indian Nations University and a master's in public administration in tribal governance, where I gave my dissertation on urban Indian housing and native education. During that time that I was going to school for my master's, I served as vice chair of a nonprofit in Washington State for an urban Indian organization, specifically serving K-12 students, Native American students. Today, I see no higher calling than serving as the vice chair of our people. And if voted in, I will serve to the best of my abilities and I will incorporate trust, respect, integrity, collaboration, and teamwork. And I will work diligently and tenaciously for all of our people. I believe we do need checks and balances. We need accountability. We need our business committee to stand up before us every month and give us a report of what they're doing. The days of sitting in massage chairs, playing on our phones, carrying on are at an end. We need our business committee to work for us, and I will work for you. I will take your calls. I will answer your emails. Over the past years, I've had many call me, and I never said, I don't know. I said, I don't know. Let me find out. I will call you in a day or two, or I will email you in a day or two. Many know that. And I will continue to do that as your vice chair. So I stand before you requesting your support and requesting for you to come out and vote on July 24th or to put in for your absentee ballot, because we not only owe it to our children, but we owe it to the next 7 generations and 7 generations after that and the 7 generations after that. So let's rise to the standard, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Wait. I hope everybody's had a chance to read everybody's letters in the article, so I don't want to bore you with all of my details. One thing I do want to stand up here and say is that I have been honored to serve as your vice chair. It has been a roller coaster, and I do understand that you guys do not trust us. I completely understand that, and I do not blame you. Being in this position, I've had the opportunity to see where the holes are at in our government. I would like to be able to continue the opportunity to fill those holes. We've been working with the Consultation Committee, who's going to talk here in a minute, to discuss how we need to move forward and bring accountability and checks and balances back to our people. I hope that my actions have said more than any words I can tell you. I can tell you what you want to hear all day long, but I hope that what I'm doing and what I have done has made you proud. I work for you. I work for all of our future generations. Right now, we need good people up here with good hearts, no personal agenda. That's what I ask for you to do this upcoming election, is to vote for those you feel are going to be best for our nation. please give me the opportunity to do it again. I'm always a phone call, email, text away. You can even reach out on Facebook. That's where a lot of people get a hold of me. And I appreciate it. Ganage.
Thank you for all of the candidates that came and spoke to General Council today. If I could, I'd like to request a big round of applause for everyone that participated. And I'd like to extend, I wish each candidate the best of luck in this upcoming election. And I think now would be an appropriate time to encourage everyone to, vote, get out and vote. That's the most important thing here. So with that, we're going to drop out of candidate forum and move into open forum. And before we open up the floor, I would like to extend time to the Constitution Committee at this time. So if we could have a representative from the Constitution Committee come and address the General Council and give a progress report. And I guess now would also be a good time to announce that our lunches have arrived. So if you're feeling a little famished, be sure to check out our box lunches in the back. And at this time, I'd also like to acknowledge and extend our gratitude for the Downstream Casino Resort employees and staff that had a hand in preparing those meals. And I just want to say thank you for your hard work.
Test. Hello, everybody. My name's Roman. I am the chair for the Constitution Committee. Trying to get my distance corrected. So, just a quick show of hands. Who has participated in the survey that was sent out either electronically or by mail? Okay. And who didn't even know that we had a survey sent out electronically or by mail? Okay. Okay, about 25. So what we have done as the Constitution Committee, we put together a survey to send out to kind of get a sense of where we are standing as a nation. We put together a PowerPoint to follow along behind me. I'm going to follow along on my screen down here. Can I get the next slide, please? Okay, so many have asked in the survey or commented in the survey, why do we need a constitution? What's wrong with the one that we've got? The governing resolution is fine. So a resolution by principle is meant to be temporary. It's meant to enact something immediately, and that's what our governing resolution did for us. Our resolution was established in 1956. So 65 years that we've been operating with this resolution. I'm sorry. Is that better? All right. So our current resolution has been modified on five occasions, 10 different times. All right. 10 different modifications, 5 different times. So the question that we want to ask is, does it still work for us? And I think through this demonstration is like you'll be able to form your own opinion. And
And one thing that I want to point out is that a constitution includes the rights for everyone. And our governing resolution didn't necessarily do that in a clear, concise way. Next slide, please. So the next series of slides, we're going to have the governing resolution, the text of the resolution. If you want to get a copy of this, there are some copies that back on the Constitution Committee table. One thing that I want to note is what's highlighted in various colors is either slightly different than the way we operate or completely different than the way we operate, and it has completely been amended and stricken. The first thing is in one of the reasons for the governing resolution, it describes our intent as people. It was never our intent for the business committee to govern. It was our intent for the business committee to administrate for us, okay? So they were never meant to be our governing body, but that's what they've become. Next slide, please. This is section 2 and section 3, which has completely been amended through special general counsel. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. Section 4 also completely changed through special general counsel. Something in section 5 speaks to how our committee and how our tribe is to manage settlement funds. It's in our resolution, right? Next slide, please. Portions of section 6, which describe the duties of our grievance committee, have been changed through our election ordinance and how they're elected. But something more importantly is there was an attempt a while back to limit the powers of our grievance committee, and those powers have never fully been restored, right? So everything that's in brown there are things that we know what it says here, but they're not clarified or codified, so to speak, in any way. Next slide, please.
If we could keep it down in the back as best we can, show respect to Constitution Committee Chair, please. Thank you.
Okay, my slides on the PowerPoint are a little out of order. My apologies. Section 7 and 7.8 speak to the duties of the chairman and the vice chairman. 4 sentences. 4 sentences is what our governing resolution says. I mean, those are the duties that we have given through our governing resolution to our chairman and to our vice chair. Section 9 goes through the duties of our secretary and treasurer. If you'll notice, there's a lot. Our secretary and treasurer does a lot. We have also somewhere along the lines employed an executive secretary to do some of these duties, which is necessary, but hasn't really been passed through us, right? Next slide, please. Section 11 has completely been changed and is now part of the election ordinance of 2004. That was changed by special general counsel. Next slide, please. And then we have section 14 that some of this, it's indistinct. It's the way the election ordinance reads and the way that it coincides with this section of our governing resolution is clear. Partial information is in the resolution, our governing resolution, and partial information is inside our election ordinance on how we go about getting things, getting referenda, ordinances brought to special general counsel. So again, this was adopted in 1956 by a vote of 149 to 1. Next slide, please. Next slide. Oh, yeah, next slide. Get that please. Okay, so this is the results of the survey that we sent out. Currently, there are 1,547 registered voters, and we have 3,746 tribal members 18 or older. Big discrepancy that personally I would like to see that gap closed. And then below there, you see the results of our elections for the past 4 years. You'll notice that the even numbered years have almost double the amount of our odd number years. Those even number years, if you didn't know, are the elections for our chairman and 2 business committee seats. The amount of responses that we received for the survey that we sent out was 448. So we're right in line. We're sitting right just above the amount of people who vote in a regular election, the odd number year election. So it was a significant response. The numbers that you're about to see aren't peanuts, okay? Next slide, please. The first question we asked was, do you believe you are adequately represented by our governing body? 55% said yes, and disturbingly, 44% don't believe that they are represented by our body that's sitting up here. Something that we need to change. Next slide, please. So this next question was open-ended, and we got a ton of responses. 350 or 380 responses to this question. And some of those responses are being forthright. Business committee, I'll give you guys a copy of these responses just so you guys know. So some of these responses are being forthright, not hedging topics, being able to trust and know that they are doing what is in the best interest of the tribe. Answering questions either publicly or privately. I'm not going to read all of these. I just want you to know that for those of you who have filled this out, we hear you. We're going to continue to listen to you on this, and we're going to implement as much of these ideas and gather these ideas collectively, and we're going to share them with the business committee. Next slide, please. So these next 2 questions are going to take a lot of discovery, right? So the question was, can our culture and traditional ways be incorporated into our governance? 95% of us think that it can. Right? Next slide, please. Next question was, should our culture and traditional ways be incorporated into our governance? And 94% believes that they should. What that means and how that looks, that's going to be a conversation that we collectively continue to have and how we want this to unfold. Next slide, please. We asked, what issues are important to you? And it was pretty spread out, but overwhelming: accountability, education, tradition, elders, ethics, services. All right, those are the main things that people, and everybody was able to select more than one item. Next slide, please. We wanted to know, do we adequately protect our non-appointed, non-elected tribal employees? Okay, so where this spirit comes from is you may have heard that the business committee is too close to the hiring and firing of individuals. And there was a lot of feedback and a lot of comments in this regard that is also going to be shared with the business committee. But the numbers on that, 54% believe yes, and 46% don't believe that they're adequately protected. Next slide, please. So these next 2, we're going to explore a lot more. I think I did a disservice in not getting additional information out. let's talk about what we have here first, and then I'm gonna tell you why I believe it was a disservice of how I did this. So we asked, should the Quapaw Nation adjust the term length for elected officials? You could see the numbers there. You can't, kind of small, but over 50% believe that the terms should remain at 2 years. The next amount was 4 years. Then we asked, should the Quapaw Nation adopt term limits? So the number of times you could serve for elected officials. And the majority say that 2 terms. So right now, the numbers are saying 2-year terms twice. So here's the disservice. We didn't gather enough information before we asked this question. We didn't ask previous business committee members, current business committee members on what you believe is an adequate number to do your job. Do you have enough time to do your job? Because those conversations after we already did this had pointed to that 2 years is not enough time to do this job. You spend a year or over a year learning the position, and then you start worrying about getting reelected. All right. So we need business to happen in between all of this. So we're going to explore this idea some more, but I didn't want to hide this from everybody because we do hear what you're saying. We're concerned about these numbers. Next slide, please. So we asked, should the Quapaw Nation adopt term limits for appointed officials? The chairman and the business committee have the authority to appoint certain positions inside of our administration. We want to know, should those be limited? We have people who have served almost their whole career on these positions. Should we continue to allow that? Are they doing a great job? So we want to know what you think. And from the numbers, it says that 81% thinks that there should be some sort of term limits there also. Next slide, please. So our meetings and the business committee meetings, this meeting today is supposed to operate under Robert's Rules of Order. We asked, according to Robert's Rules of Order, do you know when an improper motion has been made? We're talking about the basic function of our meetings, and nearly half don't know, So we, as the tribe, need to do better in that regard. We can't have this half of the room know what's going on and this half of the room not know what's going on. We all need to be on the same page with this. So this tells us that we have to explore more ideas on how we operate in our meetings. Do we need to come up with our own rules? Do we need to adjust Robert's Rules of Order? So there's more ideas to explore here also. Next slide, please. So here we got a little specific with it. We said, according to Robert's Rules of Order, do you know when the following terms mean and how to use them appropriately? We wanted to know about a point of order. We wanted to know if you knew what call for the question means, if somebody asked that. Do you know when it's appropriate? And what point of parliamentary procedure is. Now, there were a handful that didn't know what these were at all, and there were a handful that have heard them and said no. But for the most part, it looks like there's a good amount that knew what the first two were, but that number dwindles when we get to point of parliamentary procedure. So these are things that whenever somebody says, oh, you're out of order, oh, point of order, it's up to somebody to determine what that parliamentary procedure is, right? And who is that? Who do we rely on? So these are the things that we want to know. Next slide, please. And this was a big one. We said in the United States government, Congress and the presidency are designed to work together, but hold separate authorities that check and balance each other's authority and power. Should our governing body of the Quapaw Nation adopt a system of checks and balances also? About 92% said yes. So we are clearly not doing enough. Next slide, please. And this one for me personally was a little disheartening. We said that the governing resolution of the Quapaw Nation has been amended several times since 1956. Do you know what has been amended? Over 85% don't even know what's been amended in our own governing resolution. How are we as the people supposed to hold them accountable if we don't even know what's in our own governing resolution, right? That's our responsibility to know what's in there, okay? And let's go to the next slide, please. So in conclusion, you know, it's evident that our nation, at a minimum, needs reform. We need reform. Whether that's a constitution or not, we need it. As I've showed you in those earlier slides, though, our governing resolution is just a hodgepodge of you know, sentences and paragraphs that don't even, you know, all flow together anymore. You know, our sovereignty must evolve. Our leaders 65 years ago have brought us this far. They couldn't have foreseen where we would be today with what we have. They couldn't imagine the troubles that we would come across, but we see it ourselves. And it's up to us to make those changes and to implement changes. You heard, you know, the disdain for the election ordinance earlier. This is your opportunity. If you were of that opinion, this is your opportunity to give us feedback, to weigh in for your family, to weigh in on how they want to be able to live as a sovereign, how they want to be able to be governed as a sovereign. This is our opportunity now to do this. And next slide, please. And that brings us to the end here, where we're not going to have a question and answer period on this here right now, but we will have opportunity after General Council. We have room upstairs. We invite all of you to please attend and give us your feedback. Let's get this conversation going. All right, we want to continue to have this dialogue with you on how we need to continue going about our process with this Constitution. And with that, we have, an election or a quick stint. We've given the election committee some questions to ask what the direction the body would like to go. Do I have time to do that?
Can you repeat the question?
We would like to, so we have a one question, a single question to ask the body what direction they would like to see us take next, what the next step would be for the Constitution Committee.
Or how about a vote to see how many want to participate in that forum to ask those questions?
Rather do that.
Because
here.
how many questions is it going to be?
One question, 5 answers, 5 possible answers.
Go ahead, let's do it.
So what they're going to be putting up, we don't have, I don't have anything to put up on the screen here for you for this, but they will put it on these 2 screens over here. And we're going to be asking, what do you think the next step should be? What is more important for us to be working on for you? Are those just voting for one option? Okay. And what we're going to do, we're going to take this information, and those are going to be our next steps. What you could expect from us as the Constitution Committee is we're going to take your result that you give to us. We're going to whittle down some more questions, and we're going to continue to request more opportunity from the Business Committee, either to call some special sessions for us to continue to have this conversation. We're looking possibly in the winter time, one more in the springtime for us to come together, and so that we could start taking some action on these items. Some of these require immediate action. Some of them, the Business Committee could initiate immediate action on. The business committee doesn't need our permission to hold themselves to a higher standard, to create a ethics and conflict of interest policy for themselves. They have the authority to do that. They don't need our vote to hold themselves to that standard. All right, if they wanted to put it into our resolution, they could do that. So there are various things. Our grievance committee doesn't have an operation, a policy, or any sort of policies that they operate by, right? Our business committee can delegate to our grievance committee to come up with their own policies and procedures to operate by, you know, that we could then again come and take a look at and vote on. These are immediate things that we could do to start to forge our own future over again. We'll give this one more minute. And again, I invite all of you to please join us in the conversation afterwards. And if you can't make it to that conversation, if you have other plans, you could reach any of us at the Constitution Committee by email. Our email is constitution.committee@QuapawNation.com. I see some of you writing. I'll say that again. It's constitution.committee@QuapawNation.com.
Roman, I think you have a question.
Yes, I thought that it was. Yes, we can though. Okay.
It is.
And that's all I have, everybody. Thank you, Chairman, Committee. Thank you for allowing me to serve in this role.
Roman, appreciate you stepping up, to chair this committee, and other members of the committee. Just want to thank you for your hard work and dedication to the idea of reconstituting and reforming our government. I think it's a tremendous undertaking, and just want to say thank you for your hard work. Appreciate you. We still have votes rolling in. If you could go ahead and vote for one of these options here, and we still have one more minute to get your vote in. Okay, we're going to go ahead and conclude the voting now. Thank you for your feedback, Gunagay. And again, encourage everyone to participate in the meeting room upstairs. And if you have any further requests for information, please be sure to see the table, the booth set up in the back, and should make for an interesting and lively discussion. Look forward to seeing everyone. Roman, are we going to have food there too? No food? Water? We'll see. We'll see. Okay, at this time, I want to reserve a few minutes to our Secretary Treasurer, Guy Barker.
Hawaii. I wanted to take a moment to go ahead and, in addition to the treasurer's report, which you all have received historically, to go ahead and point to your attention, also included in your general counsel packet today. We've gone ahead and included a shareholders report and earnings report on our gaming entities. This is something that's been really very important to us to provide a lot of knowledge, transparency to the tribal members who really should understand kind of the financial status of these entities. I think as many of you are well aware, in order to run the administrative functions of our government, it's very capital intensive. It requires a lot of money. And a lot of that income is generated here in the facility that you're sitting in today. And understanding the status of those businesses and enterprises, I think makes for a more informed populace, a more informed tribal membership, so that we'll understand really where we're going. I think that in the past, there's been quite a bit of discussion about, we'll look around, look at everything we have, look at our assets. And I think as many of you with some financial experience understand that there is a other half to the balance sheet that doesn't just look at revenue and it doesn't just look at expenses, but it also takes into account expenses, debits, and credits. So I think understanding not just our revenue, not just our growth, and not just being able to look around at a very large and beautiful property, but understanding really operationally where and how secure this property is from a revenue or, most importantly, a profit standpoint. So there's a lot of good information in there, really speaking to our debt and equity position on this property, as well as our others. And just wanted to go ahead and point that to everybody's attention. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Guy. If I could have one more moment, we're still in open forum, but if I could have our AV and production crew cue up the video. Not that video. Maybe. No. I request just a moment of your time while we cue this up. Thank you. And my apologies. So, just to put that in context, that video that was just shown, and I appreciate the AV people making that happen for us. Thank you. A few months ago, we began to meet with various committees, culture committee, grounds department, tribal administration, and of course the powwow committee to begin talks of what the 150th Quapaw powwow could potentially look like and hold for us. And you know, anybody that comes, travels near and far annually to our Beaver Springs tribal grounds, they understand the importance of what that facility means to us, and more specifically, what those grounds mean to us, and how we still have that today, and how you know it represents our culture and our tradition and our lifeways as O-gah-pah people, the possibility that we can still gather. And so, in anticipation of the 150th Quapaw powwow, we're looking at ways to renovate the existing tribal grounds. And the intent behind that is really, we have such a beautiful facility here that we are able to utilize, and the attention to detail is tremendous here. And now we feel it's time to give that same attention to detail over there. And so that's really kind of the intent behind this. Again, these are all conceptual at this point, and we definitely encourage feedback from the audience and our members, as well as any of the other committees, to kind of voice what their concerns are with the current grounds, and then how we can build upon that and enhance those grounds, such as our electrical wiring, our water systems, our plumbing, the renovation to the bathrooms, some much needed attention is long overdue to some of those areas, including additional restrooms to the other side of the hill that sometimes goes overlooked. And again, this is a great opportunity to address and acknowledge those individuals and the committees that work year-round to make those grounds what they are. The cleanup and in preparation to the powwow, it's a lot of energy and it's a lot of hard work. And this is something that I personally would like to see, and we're hoping that we can break ground on this pretty soon. But just to give you a little context, that's what that video was, and there's nothing final about it. We know that we had heard in the past that there weren't a lot of activities for our youth during the powwow, especially during the day when it's hot. If you look at one of the conceptual renderings, there's a splash pad that we're kicking around the idea of that we could potentially have inside the powwow grounds, but off to the side. And then also long overdue renovation for our longhouse, our concession area, and our showers. So again, that's just the potential, and we look forward to sharing more information with you as it unfolds. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Anna McKibben Pipestem, and I just wanted to introduce myself and thank you for the beautiful, I was looking at these pictures up here. I didn't know there was a presentation. I was going to tell everyone to come check them out, but I'm excited.
But the thing I wanted to bring up this morning is our election ordinance and the way that this election has been held. The election ordinance does not, I believe, from my interpretation, I believe that it conflicts with our governing resolution. And I think that we should do away with it. I believe we need to go back to voting on the 4th of July. And I believe when someone is certified as a candidate, their lineage needs to be traced and not on Quapaw Nation enrollment records, because those have been messed with. People have written on them, people have changed them. And we need to go to the Bureau of Indian Affairs, who have official documents that trace people back to their heritage. It's not difficult to do. I worked at the BIA. You can go right in there and pull out files. They may be at a federal records center, but they are all electronic. You can get someone to pull them up in like an hour. It doesn't take long at all. And I believe that we should do that. So right now I'd like to make a motion. It's two-part. A, to do away and throw out our election ordinance, and B, to go back to voting on the 4th of July. This election, I've been reading, our absentee ballots are all messed up. There are people who didn't know how to vote when they received their absentee ballots. There wasn't anything saying how many people to vote for. It's already a mess. And if we could just go back to voting on the 4th, we could do away with all of that. Or we need to get a company to run the election, because we are not doing it correctly. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
And I would just like to discuss what you just brought up here about the election ordinance. The way the if we got rid of the election ordinance right now, we would still have absentee ballots because it was written into our governing resolution. That portion, but that's the only thing that's in there. If we get rid of that, there's no rules at all. We are throwing all of our rules away. Now our election ordinance needs fixed, and we can fix it, and we can fix it really quick to get it back to the 4th of July. We can fix it to where once you're 18, you can automatically be registered. There's a lot of things that we can fix, and I am talking with the Consultation Committee on figuring out how we can move to make that happen quicker. But again, with the election ordinance, we can't throw it away at General Council.
Our governing resolution states that no one can run for election if they are adopted. I do believe that we have some people that are not Quapaw by blood running for election, and I believe that their bloodlines need to be verified. I can verify mine. I go back, my dad was Jesse McKibben, and that's why I'm up here. I'm honoring my dad, because he went to his grave saying that the election ordinance needed to be thrown out, that it goes against our governing resolution and the things that our elders fought for our entire lives. They were here before there was any money. They were here when there was nothing, and they are the backbone that we are here now. And that's why I'm here standing up for my dad, Jesse McKibben, who gave his all devoted to this tribe. He loved his people, and he didn't get a dime. And I remember when he first started getting $100 a month, and he was just kind of thrilled, and he didn't know what to think of it. And he felt bad for taking money for being on the business committee, but he was happy because it did help, because he spent so many hours. And anybody who's served the tribe knows that it's a thankless job. 1 minute everybody's for you, the next minute they're against you. But I'm just here because he went to his grave saying that he did not want this election ordinance on our business. And I believe that I agree with him 100%. And again, my lineage is Jesse McKibben was my father. My grandmother was an original Lati. Her name was Anna Quapaw McKibben. My great grandpa was Solomon Quapaw, another original Lati who walked here from Arkansas. And I'm here on behalf of our blood Quapaws
that we need to go back to the 4th of July like our governing resolution states, and we do not need an election ordinance. Thank you.
And Anna, appreciate your passion for your tribe and for your people. And we're saying that the proper way to bring that is through petition. And this is not the appropriate forum to do that.
I'll have a petition started over where I'm sitting. If anyone would like to come and sign it to throw out the election ordinance, come on by. Thank you.
And just to clarify, the petition would need 250 signatures. Thank you. Please state your name for the record.
Hello, my name is Brian Hyder. I want to actually speak for a group that I believe has influence in our tribe that has no voice in this committee or in this meeting at all. And that is Quapaw mothers that are non-tribal members. I would like to see, and I don't know the financial ramifications, but if there could be, I don't know if you guys sign a committee or have someone look into the cost of allowing mothers of Quapaw children to be put on our insurance. I believe that their bodies produced Quapaw children, and I'm not asking for you to vote for that today. I'm just saying if we could look into that and consider what it would cost us. I mean, I know many women have had babies and medical problems due to those babies that are tribal members. Just something I would like the committee to consider.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for your participation.
Hooray, hooray. My name is Grace Good Eagle. And I am pleased to be here as part of the Elders Subcommittee. We have a report, but it was not included in your packet. So I will briefly say that we do have an Elders Subcommittee. We were set up a couple of years ago because at that time we were having trips and we were having dinners and doing various things. But since COVID has come along, we've not been able to be there. I just wanted to mention the subcommittee. There are several members who are scattered throughout, but in looking at the packet that you have, it mentions the Elder Subcommittee, and it mentions my name, but also Rhonda and Bill. There are a lot of other elders who are serving on the committee. So wherever you are, if you're serving on the Elder Subcommittee, raise your hand. So they're scattered throughout. We've got Frank, we've got Myron Papal, we've got Bill Shawnee. Several people are serving on this subcommittee. Along with that, we have heard different ones who have said, and we talked about the Quapaw Way. And people have said, I don't know, which may happen for various reasons. Now, as far as the Elders subcommittee. Again, a lot of our work in the beginning was around trips from the beginning. In the meantime, what we have been working on, we have a table right over here outside the main door. We have asked for cards to be made up with your name and your contact information. What we were initially asking for, you were probably taught within your family the Quapaw way. Basically, we are to serve what we do. And I must say, in going to this year's powwow, it was wonderful. We were able to get together, visited, it was that full time. So what we're coming to you now about, and what I'm coming to you about, is our legacy. Your elders are scattered all around. And in a way, I'm kind of talking to you as a grandmother. Listen. And people have told me they wish that they had spent more time with the elders. Generations have gone on before us. We're here now, but we also have to think in terms of future generations. All the potential is there. This administration and future administration, there's so much that can be done. And we realize now that we don't have full blood anymore. They have passed on. Within the Good Eagle family, all of those were full blood. O-gah-pah. For myself, and my brother and I came along, we became Papal and Papal. So many are of mixed blood. But as much as possible, what were you taught about the Papal way? And once we get this information, we're wanting to put it together so that we will know how to do things. There's been a lot of questions, and we want the truth out there. And so that was, again, the purpose of this talk. Now, this could also be multi-purpose, the way it was set up. But over on the table, outside the main door here, the elders table. There are a lot of these cards. So pick one up, leave it at the table, or leave it at the tribal office. And so, again, people are wanting to know more. And as we're learning also, we want to share with you. It's important. It's important for the future. And so this is what we're looking at. So with that, I will say, and again.
Gay.
Hi, everybody. I got my trusty horn for those in the back who can't be quiet. It was beautiful the last couple of days being able to see everybody at powwow. But like most things in life, to move forward, you have to learn from where you've come from. And history repeats itself when you choose not to learn about your past. Their past is your past because otherwise you wouldn't be here. I pulled the minutes from General Council held at Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College, July 21st, 1962. The meeting was called to order by Chairman Robert Whitebird at 2:15. Kind of goes the same way. They give a lot of descriptions. But during this, they're actually going over their business committee and appointing a chief or chairman. There's a lot of names on here that are gone. A lot of family names that people have been kin to and lost. And these people were learning in 1962 how to take care of their people. I know a lot of you missed a good portion of a business committee meeting where I had went off because I was under a lot of emotional issues with 2 deaths that happened in my family. It takes a lot of consideration to look at your family and see the ugliness that is there. But it also gives you eyes to see the ugliness around you. These men and these women who sat and discussed in great detail of their thoughts and the way that they were brought up on what this business committee, what the job of chairman, the title of chief means to them. They chose not to take chief because simply that was something earned and not just given or appointed. But these men and women went from being home people with money. Guess what? Quapaws were wealthy at one point in time. And then they weren't wealthy because, you know, greed takes a hold of a lot of people. We've seen this. Again, history has a way of repeating itself. That also goes along with the governing resolution. The wording in it can depict and give definition to anything. That is why there's been so much abuse of power. That's why so many people that get up here have been wanting to get a constitution. And several people repeatedly have constantly stated it's too much work. It's too difficult. I do appreciate the fact that this committee has a Constitution Committee, that they're at least attempting to work on it. I say that because you keep in the governing resolution is what's keeping your voice from being heard. They did what they were supposed to do for their people. They did it in a hurry. They did it to get it done, because otherwise you would not be part of any Quapaw tribe or nation had they not got it done. Seriously, when I tell you Hooked on Phonics works, it helps in a lot more ways than just reading. It helps you comprehend what you're reading, whether it's easy words or big words, little words, don't matter. It helps. I got to utilize it in 3rd grade. I'm sorry if I speak to you as though you are ignorant, but I'm seeing how much ignorance has been passed down, because to know that in 1962, the people that we hold so much regard and respect and admiration for, these people did not know what they were doing either. They were learning. It has always been a learning experience. And when you don't learn together, what happens? The same thing continues. People are fighting. People get greedy. People want to be in control. Everybody wants. Everybody's got their hand out for something. We are one nation of people, whether you like it or not. We are a nation amongst a nation. You are born Quapaw, but you're an American. I won't go there, but you're Quapaw. Love, kindness, family does not mean that there won't be fights or arguments. Doesn't mean that there's not going to be some belittling or ugliness. That's what families do. But you're supposed to work together. When I said that this is important for every member to know, there's a reason. That's your voice. Your voice is your governing resolution that the business committee controls. Y'all didn't know that, did you? That's your voice. You want it changed? Get rid of the governing resolution. Get a constitution. Work together. Find out. Learn. Ask questions. I will not say that there is no such thing as a stupid question because I've been in customer service for over 20 years. There is such thing as a stupid question. But if you're asking to learn something about your people, about your tribe, about your nation, about who you come from, that's not stupid. However, I'm really glad that a lot of people have actually speaking up today and stating what they want to see, knowing that they're not just going to get up there and make changes. They know they have to learn. They're figuring it out. I'm sorry if I offended any of our elders, but I'm telling you right now, this is what's wrong. If you tell people to be quiet or that they're too loud, you're keeping them from learning. Mind your business. No, it is every single one of your business. Every business within this nation is a part of your business. What they do for you outside of here is your business. They are a reflection of every single one of us because that's their job. That's their duty. That is what we voted them to do. I want to say a lot more, but I might start cussing, so I better cut it quick. I at least know myself. For the record, though.
Thank you. Anna?
Okay. Okay, the election ordinance was just brought to me, a copy of the election ordinance, which since apparently it was voted in, I believe around 2000 or 2001, I don't know. My dad was still living, so I remember vaguely about then. But I believe it supersedes our governing resolution right now since it was voted on in a general council. So if you have signed my petition, I would like you to go back and add your address and roll number, and you must be a registered voter to sign it. And correction, it only needs 100 signatures. So that is from our existing election ordinance. So I would ask if you've already signed it, please go back. Maybe you could just, we numbered them. So if you could just put your number and add your address to it, I'd appreciate it, and your roll number, so that we can make sure this is an effective document that we turn in, because otherwise it won't even be reviewed if whoever reviews it knows this. But I'm kind of with Abby on that, that some people are up here and they don't really know what our governing resolution says or what laws we even go by. So I do believe the Constitution will be helpful when we actually know what we're doing, and we get some people who know their laws and ordinances so that we can actually have checks and balances and things like that. So right now, everybody's just kind of been running the blind leading the blind. So I just wanted to clarify that. So to make sure that our document was effective and that it goes back to July 4th voting and removing the election ordinance. And again, we're over here. If you want to sign, put your name, address, and your roll number, which is the same thing as your voter registration number. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be here with you all. Good to see you. It kind of disturbed me a while ago to hear a time limit put on anyone speaking. I'm old enough to remember the time when we sat in general council and somebody had something to say. I mean, we went way into midnight. I remember as a little girl, daylight, and they were still talking. Everyone deserves a chance to speak their mind. A lot of you that want to know about the culture, your younger ones, we have documents, we have a museum, a library, we have elders. Right now, at this time at the powwow is a perfect time for those of you who don't know your ways and really and truly want to know. You go from camp to camp and you talk to them, because some of them are elders, some of them are beginning elders, some are like me, a junior elder, because I have older people that I respect. This is the time to go and learn your ways. A good time anyway. But it's up to you to learn about these resolutions. And this resolution that I saw a copy of it, the governing resolution. There's not a copy of the original governing resolution. That is nowhere to be found. And I've not seen that in existence in over 16 years. What we have been presented with is not the same thing. And that document, the original document, needs to be found and given to the Constitution so they can work with it, the Constitution Committee. Darn please. Anyway, talking about your elders. Shame on you. Shame on you. It's your job to teach your children what little you know. And if you don't know, you let them know that you don't know. Don't give them, oh, we did this, I remember that. You tell them what you know. And you younger ones, you go around, you learn, you really learn, because you have children coming. You have children already. You have grandchildren. You have generation after generation coming. And if we lose that, it's gone. So right now is the time for every one of you to dig in and start learning, because we are so intermarried and our blood quantum is really low. It's time to try to keep what we have. And it's not very much, I'll tell you right now, not very much. And you all old enough, Carolyn, all of you, Bill, brother, we need cultural programs more for the presentations, not just one, and that's it. We need one like maybe every 3 months and another different type of program. Keep an ongoing thing, not a one-time thing, according to the grants. We got money to build something like this. We've got money to try to hold on to our culture. We've got money for something like that. We need to apply it there so that we have what has gone on and we can keep it. I'm going to let go now. All right. I just want to tell you all that it's your job, you elders, you with children, even your young ones, single mamas, single daddies, reach out and learn. Hold on to our ways, because if not, they're gone. We have people that are leaders. We have people that you go and ask them something, and you hope, like Sam Hill, they know what they're talking about. Because sometimes they don't. And so many times people are looking like, oh, when did that come in? Learn the right way, try to, like Chris is saying, compare. But I'm telling you, elders, shame on you. Shame on you. I'm ashamed too. I was raised in, pretty strict. But still, I have my own children and grandchildren correcting me. And that shouldn't be. I'm getting old and crazy, but you older ones, do your duty. Give them what you've learned. Give them what you can. But most of all, I love you all, couple people. I love you all. Thank you.
Morning. My name is Dennis.
I'm sorry.
I have come.
Oh, that's Aunt Frances, Minnie Frances Hawk.
Sorry, my name is Dennis Wagner. I have come into issues with my tribal ID. It's not accepted as a legal form of identification, as people are saying, the places are saying we can't. It's not legal because our signatures aren't under it. I was wondering if there's any way that we could make it a legal form of identification by putting our signatures on our tribal ID. How to go about doing that, or I guess just bring that up. I'm not sure, but I don't know if anyone else has come into that problem or issue with your tribal IDs like I have.
So at this time, you're asking if we could look into including a place for a signature on our Quapaw ID cards?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. We can look into that.
Thank you.
And that also goes along with the issue of a real ID Quapaw card too. So yes, and that was brought up in last general council. So yeah.
Thank you.
And just to update everyone on that, last October, I believe it was presented in open forum about the idea of a real Quapaw ID card and to include some type of veterans designation on there, along with other capabilities and guards safeguarding that. And I believe we sent an inquiry to Homeland Security, but we will definitely follow back up with that. So thank you. And also there's a ton of sandwiches left. So if you're still hungry, please grab one or two. We have a motion on the floor to adjourn. We have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Yeah, let's talk after this. Okay, okay. At this time, we are adjourned. Thank you. I'm sorry. I apologize. Let's do a benediction. Yes. Mr. Sunny Glass, would you do us the honor, please? And stand if you are able, please.
I want to thank. Can you hear me okay? I know that I don't really need this microphone, but I thank you. Everybody, we are very fortunate. We have gone through something that we can be able to tell our children and our children's children. And we survived as a people. We've lost many people. So keep those people in mind, the families, as we go to our Maker. Well, Heavenly Father, we come to you to thank you for this day and the blessings that you give to each and every one of us. Heavenly Father, we have many needs. We are pitiful people, Heavenly Father. We look to you for your guidance, your protection. We ask, Heavenly Father, that you continue to watch over us and be with our service people. Bring them home, bring them safe. Be with those who are sick and afflicted. Heavenly Father, there's many things upon our minds that we want to say, but we know that you hear. We ask, Heavenly Father, to go with us, remember this day, days to come, so that we can be able to gather again. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.